Bigfoot. Yes, sir, for the Monster Truck Challenge on ESPN. Bigfoot has to face all comers in this shootout. Is he ready and up to the challenge on Monster Truck Challenge? Stay tuned, you'll find out, because TUFF-E-NUFF is here. We've also brought in the Warrior. Wild Hair. The Auto Value King KRUNCH. The brand new Auto Value Special in a course that goes from straight line to a great big giant Texas horseshoe. It's all coming up on Monster Truck Challenge here on ESPN, the Total Sports Network.
In Texas tonight, have we got a lineup? You know, they say everything in the Lone Star State is big. Our field of monster trucks tonight is huge. You'll need a scorecard to keep track of all of this, or you'll need the voice of Monster Truck Challenge. Here's Joe Lowe.
Ken, we have our scorecard out. They're chasing this guy, Andy Brass, in the incredible Bigfoot number 10. And just who are they? Let's check them out for the pairings of round number 1 here at the Houston Astrodome. Bigfoot takes on the Hawk. First blood against TUFF-E-NUFF. It will be King KRUNCH against the Clydesdale. Outlaw faces Warrior. Tropical Thunder goes against the Valvoline Eagle. No problem against Wild Hair. Auto Value faces Dirty Dancing, and because of this wild card, these guys have drawn buys. Buffalo Tremor and Wild Thing. Meanwhile, down on the track, Bigfoot and Hawk are ready to start round number 1. There they go, straight line racing over the first hill as they hit the cars. Bigfoot with a commanding lead, and Andy Brass picks up his first win here tonight in Houston. As we look at the replay, you can see the incredible control Andy Brass has over this Bigfoot monster truck. Remember, it's straight line racing now, but when we get to round number 2, we do that giant Texas horseshoe, and we'll see who the biggest and best are at that time. Andy Brass goes to round number 2. We're set with our second heat. First blood, TUFF-E-NUFF. There's Rob Fuchs, First Blood, Joey Pittman up in TUFF-E-NUFF, and Pablo Cruz's wild-looking Chevy truck. They're staged. There they go. First Blood with a commanding lead over TUFF-E-NUFF. And he bounces over the finish line. If TUFF-E-NUFF had had just a little more, he could have done it, but Rob Fuchs and the Big Red Ford hold on. Again, both wins now have been in that far lane. You got to wonder if there's a difference there. A nice straight run for First Blood. Rob, when you get back in the pits, you might want to work on that front grill just a little bit. It seems like it might be loose, buddy. All right, here comes the big pink truck out of Georgia. Bennett Clark and the Clydesdale going against the Auto Value King KRUNCH. Now the King KRUNCH piloted by Rob Grossman. We're set to go. Side by side, straight line. King KRUNCH with a hole shot. The Clydesdale tries to catch up. He just doesn't have the horsepower to do it. And the Auto Value KRUNCH putting the brakes to it. He picks up a win. Rob Grossman, he goes to round number 2. And if you think we're about over with this round, think again, because they're all here, the best of the United States Hot Rod Association. Here's a winning run. A nice smooth drive over the hill, over the cars, and Rob Grossman picks up a win in the Auto Value King KRUNCH. As we continue with round number 1 action here in the Houston Astrodome. It will be the Warrior, Lupe Sosa, going against Nick Rossi out of Pennsauken, New Jersey, and the Jersey Outlaw. This is going to be anybody's run. Both these trucks, world-class competition. The Outlaw, the Warrior. Side by side, they're staged. We're ready to go. Watch the action as the two Fords get set to go. One's a survivor, one has to go to the trailer tonight. A nice hole shot for the Outlaw. The Warrior has to play catch-up. He cannot do it. And the Outlaw goes to round number 2. Nick Rossi thought he had it won. He didn't see the Warrior coming from behind. Matter of fact, he surprised everybody with a burst of speed there at the end. Another 10 feet, and Nick Rossi would be going to the trailer. He looks great coming off the line. Hits that hill, goes in, lines up, over the cars, and it seems as though he thought he was on a picnic little walk here. Just jotting through the countryside. There's the finish line. The Warrior almost caught him, but Nick Rossi holds on to the win in round number 1. Next up, the 1991 Rookie of the Year, Wayne Smolzanek in Tropical Thunder, goes against the Valvoline Eagle. Gary, shot out of San Diego, California in the Chevy Valvoline Eagle, takes on the GMC Tropical Thunder. Thunder with a nice hole shot. Valvoline Eagle has to really give it some gas. He can't do it, and your win goes to Tropical Thunder. That's why Wayne Smolzanek was our Rookie of the Year in 1991. He is an incredible driver with a lot of natural ability, and he's picking up experience each and every weekend on the U.S. Hot Rod Association circuit. Wayne Smolzanek not exactly clearing all the cars, but it was enough for a win, and he moves into round number 2 on our Monster Truck Challenge. This next matchup is going to pit 2 old-time foes. These guys have been around a long time. Marvelous Marvin Smith and the Wild Hair out of Missouri goes against longtime foe John Moore from Lafayette, Tennessee, and no problem. They come up to the starting line. Wild Hair, the Chevy, no problem, the Ford. John Moore wanting to make sure things are just so right in that far lane. Many times on Monster Truck Challenge, these guys work small courses. Here, it's a long one. They have to reset everything. Both trucks are ready, and we're set to go. John Moore seems to get a good hole shot. Marvin Smith works to catch up. But the incredible HPX, no problem, holds on and picks up the win. John Moore, one of the original monster truck drivers in the world, holds on and picks up a win here in the Houston Astrodome. I think of all the times we've been in Houston, John Moore has been there the most. He's a true veteran of this sport, and that no-problem truck is not one to mess with as he goes on to round number 2. Our next matchup features Dirty Dancing Chuck Jordan out of Oregon, goes against Scott Stevens and the Auto Value Special. No time wasted here as Scott Stevens puts pedal to the metal and just smokes Chuck Jordan away, and the win goes to the Auto Value Special, a truck, by the way, that's so new, they didn't have a chance to finish the paint job before they brought it here to Houston. They seem to have it dialed in, though, for a brand new truck. He is looking great. Scott Stevens, and our first look at the Auto Value Special this year on Monster Truck Challenge. And Ken Brew, that wraps it up for this very exciting round number 1 from the Houston Astrodome.
I don't know about you, but I got to catch my breath.
King Crunch faces Wild Hair. The Outlaw against the Warrior. Tropical Thunder against No Problem. It's Auto Value facing the Clydesdale, Buffalo Tremor, and the Valvoline Eagle. It's Wild Thing against the Hawk. Bigfoot gets a bye. Andy's with Jim Clark.
How's the course?
Well, the course seems to be pretty decent. You know, we was out there walking it earlier tonight. I thought the course was going to be a little bit rougher than what it was, but the ramps aren't throwing the guys as high as what we initially thought they would. So guys will probably be starting to speed up here later on in this first half, or even earlier as after watching me run.
All right. Well, good luck to you in the rest of the competition.
Well, thank you now.
Here we go with round number 2, First Blood, and Rob Fuchs against Joey Pittman and TUFF-E-NUFF. Now remember, the course has changed for round number 2 and the rest of the rounds here in Houston. It's over the first set of cars. You have to hit a hill, go over the hill, do a 180-degree turnaround over another hill, straight away, another set of cars before you hit the finish line. This is the horseshoe we were telling you about, and Rob Fuchs seems to have gotten it down pretty darn well. He picks up the first win in round number 2. So the red board's coming back. Here's Marvelous Marvin Smith and Wild Hair going against Rob Grossman in the Auto Value King Crunch. A thumbs up from the U.S. Hot Rod Association official, and we're ready for this matchup. Wild Hair and King Crunch, and Marvin Smith gets the hole shot. He goes over the first set of cars with the lead, but Can he navigate this rear steer that's so important for this 180-degree turn? King Crunch seems to have been able to do it faster. Look at this. He really widens up the lead as he hits the second set of cars and leaves Wild Hair way behind the win. Goes to the auto value, King Crunch. Wild Hair disappointed. We're set to go again. Warrior and Outlaw. It's the battle of the Fords. Warrior out of Texas, Outlaw out of Pensacola, New Jersey. Outlaw gets the hole shot. The Warrior won't give up as Outlaw seems to have some problems. Both of them approach that hill with a little caution. Rear steer is what it takes on this turn. Outlaw with a 2-truck lead as the Warrior comes off the hill, gives it the gas, and closes that lead. Look at this, a come-from-behind victory for the Warrior. As he smokes the Outlaw on the straightaway, the Warrior picks up the win, and Lupe Sosa showing us that driving style that Texans are noted for. All out, flat out, Katie bar the door driving. It's anybody's horse race right here. As they come and hit the turn, you can see the lead for the Outlaw, but the Warrior gives it the gas, will not back up, and come from behind. Your win, and going into round number 3, the Warrior. Here's Tropical Thunder, Wayne Smolzanek out of Jupiter, Florida. He faces John Moore, and no problem. They're staged and set to go. And Tropical Thunder gets a hole shot, but John Moore closes it very quickly. They hit that first hill, both trucks taking it easy. Now, this is where the driving is going to show. Can John Moore turn that big rig around? Tropical Thunder on the hill. John Moore having a little direction problem. John, you got to hold it straight. Wayne Smolzanek over the cars, over the finish line, and he picks up the win in the GMC Tropical Thunder. Next matchup features Bennett Clark and the Pink Clydesdale going against the brand new Auto Value Special, Scott Stevens aboard. Both these guys have been here before, Clark and Stevens, and Clark seems to get a hole shot, but they're going into this first hill side by side, dead even. The turnarounds where the horse race is going to be won, and Scott Stevens manipulates the round, makes it. Bennett Clark dies on the turn. Scott Stevens goes into the win. That's not a pretty finish, but he did make it. And Bennett Clark in the Clydesdale gets himself restarted, heads off into the pits. He's upset. Scott Stevens goes to our next round. Here's the Valvoline Eagle. But the Valvoline Eagle has some stiff competition in Johnny K and the Buffalo Tremor. Tremor and Eagle, side by side in Houston. First off the line is the Eagle. Buffalo Tremor fighting to try to close it down as they approach the first big hill. The turn, not a very comfortable one for either one. A scan, they are side by side. Tremor opens it up. Eagle seems to bobble a little bit. And John Kwasniewski gets the win over Gary Schott and the Valvoline Eagle. Now, Wild Thing and Hawk are scheduled to go side by side. Wild Thing's broke, cannot come out. Hawk advances, and that ends round number 2 here in the Houston Astrodome.
Auto Value Racer and Buffalo Tremor versus the Hawk. Hey, I don't know about you. I'm going to root for the Hawk. I mean, it's got a great name. Here's Joe Lowe.
Oh, boy, the brew curse is on the Hawk. Round number 3 of the Monster Truck Challenge. Jim Clark has a chance to talk with Rob Dush of First Blood. He goes against Bigfoot in this third round matchup.
I think the course is working out pretty well. Both lanes seem fair. Next round, I got to race Andy Brass with Bigfoot. That'll be the toughest run of the night. I'd rather do that last, but just kind of way the cards fell tonight.
Rob, everybody's been chasing Bigfoot tonight, and now it's First Blood's chance. Here we go. Andy Brass gets it off the line, but First Blood comes from behind as they hit that first hill. He has to straighten it up, but Andy, with this incredible turning ability of Bigfoot, makes the turn, hits the hill, and now he really widens the gap as he sails over the set of cars and into the winner's circle. Hold on, Andy, stop that thing. Andy Brass and Bigfoot, here's how to turn a monster truck. the newest and best. This is Bigfoot number 10 as he turns it on and sails in a victory over First Blood here in the Houston Astrodome, and the brakes work too. Next matchup is the Warrior and the Auto Value King Crunch. We're set to go with Rob Grossman aboard against the Warrior and Lupe Sosa. King Crunch with a lead. Warrior coming from behind. Remember, he came from behind last round to make it to round number 3. But the Auto Value turn, Warrior seems to have lost power. And Auto Value is well on his way, almost an entire track length win over the Warrior. And Rob Grossman with a win. The Warrior, I'm not sure what happened here. He came over that hill and just sort of lost all his power. He's able to do it, but not necessarily to hit on all 8 cylinders, I don't think. So the Warrior disappointed as he heads on back into the pits. Round number 3 continuing with the Auto Value Special and Scott Stevens taking on Tropical Thunder. Wayne Smolzanek, what do you like about this course?
I like that course. I think that there's a little bit of driving skills involved in it, so much horsepower, and with the two hills and a turning course, it works out pretty good. I kind of like it.
All right, in the next run, anything special you're going to do? Change anything?
No, the driving's about the same. We're just going to build some more speed because we're going against a faster truck. Other than that, nothing's going to change.
He knows he's got to win against this truck and this driver. The veteran Scott Stevens and the Auto Value Special, a new truck, and man, it's even running great. And he picks up a lead right away over Tropical Thunder. Now, how's it going to handle on this turn? Scott Stevens uses all the track. He makes the turn. Tropical Thunder has some problems, but they're dead even going into it. Scott Stevens has to turn on the power, which he does, and gets a win over Tropical Thunder. The only problem with that run happened right here. Coming out of the turn, he nipped that hill just a little bit, but he did stay on track. He straightens things out, really gives it gas, sails over, and a win for the Auto Value Special. Our next matchup is John Kwasniewski's Buffalo Tremor against Ken Brew's pick, the Hawk. John Kwasniewski, how was your last run?
We had a good run. We took the turns good like we expected to, and we had no problem there.
All right, any special strategy you're going to use in your next run?
No, we're just going to push it a little harder next round, that's all.
As he goes against this truck, the Hawk, Mark Christach at a Great Bend, Kansas. And John Kwasniewski with a great hole shot off the line. The Hawk works to catch up. John K. is going to win it or lose it on this turn. The Hawk takes up a lot of space. John, he's already around the turn, over the hill, and Buffalo Tremor makes it to our semifinal round in Houston. John Kwasniewski with a great run, and he has just driven his way into our semifinal round at the Houston Astrodome. Ken Brew, what happened to your man?
Well, so much for the Brew curse.
Andy Brass, the driver of Bigfoot 10. You know, we've been telling you he's out of St. Louis. Andy actually is from West Alton, Missouri, the truck from St. Louis. And who's aboard the King Crunch? Rob Grossman from Spring, Texas. He's got his work cut out for him against the big boy, Andy Brass and Bigfoot. Off the line, Andy Brass has some competition for this run. They're evenly matched. Bigfoot 10 makes that turn. The Auto Value King Crunch has some problems. Andy Brass, does he turn it on? Sure he does. 1, 2, 3. He's into our championship round. And the crowd loves it in Houston as Bigfoot hangs on against King Crunch. Here's Scott Stevens in the Auto Value Special. Scott out of Spring, Texas. He's home. But he goes against John Kwasniewski in the Buffalo Tremor. John from way up north in Lackawanna, New York. And these two have been here before against one another. Auto Value Special, Buffalo Tremor off the line together. A beautiful pirouette over the cars to our first hill, around the turn, and Scott Stevens seems to have the handling down on the new Auto Value Special. John Kwasniewski falls behind, and Scott Stevens goes to the finals.
So, Bigfoot gets to the big dance, and boy, did he have to wade through some people to get there. It's the Auto Value Racer against Bigfoot when we come back.
Here Well, here's how. Bigfoot defeated King Crunch, and auto value was over the Buffalo Tremor. Now, you got to know that Scott Stevens is ready to go, but are you looking forward to it?
Well, we know going in that he's dialed in, and we're about halfway where our truck needs to be. And we're just going to go out there and give him a good race and run it within the limits of our truck. The truck's brand new. It's got a lot of life in it. We're not going to hurt no parts here tonight. We're going to be there, but, it's going to be a tough one.
Andy Brass, do you see any problems coming up?
The only thing now is the cars are getting run over a lot. I'm trying to stay off of them because these are getting to be potential hazards for the tires now. The guy can get a flat tire pretty easy.
The Bigfoot Auto Value Racer final. The crowd's on their feet in Houston, and we're ready to go. Look at this. The Auto Value picks up a lead over Bigfoot. The crucial turn is coming up. Bigfoot negotiates without a problem. Auto Value's right there, but smoke is coming out. He's having problems. He's losing power, and Andy Brass sails to victory and a win in Houston. Scott Stevens told us he was going to save the equipment. Look at this. He drove it so hard it starts to smoke on him. Andy Brass pulls away, gets the victory. Andy Brass is standing by.
All right, Andy Brass, another big win here at the Houston Astrodome for Bigfoot 10, the newest Bigfoot.
Yeah, well, thank you. The truck seemed like it was running good, The Blue Ford run excellent, I should say. We come out of the corner. We took our time a little bit in the corner, made sure we made a good, clean corner with it, got lined up, made sure we were straight when we was coming off the hill because we just accelerated, got good traction thanks to the Firestone tires. We ended up a lot farther past the cars than what we'd like to been. We've been working a lot with the shocks. They've been doing pretty good job for us. We bottomed them out when we hit, so I'm just going to go back home a little bit now and do some fine-tuning on them.